So this is the game table setup for NUTS D-Day campaign, mission 4. First mission was the beach, D-Day assault, followed by a week of rehabilitation, basically replenishing some lost casualties. Week 3 was the patrol towards Caen. That was successful, barely, and now it's week 4, which is an assault towards Caen. So this is the table that the platoon has to capture, basically capturing the far end. See zones 1, 2, and 3, woods and hill, followed by crop fields and bocage, little farm complex there, more bocage country and fields, bocage, and then some more open fields and a little bit of a wooded area. That's the objective. The terrain set up, the American platoon commander, this is a full platoon attack, has decided to come on in a platoon line formation, going across the beginning of the table down here. You have first squad, second squad, and the platoon headquarters team, and then over here is third squad, and they need to advance up the table, capturing the end. You can see as we go forward, the farm complex has a PEF, which could be an enemy force. If they're lucky, it's not. Moving to the end of the table, we see in the last 2 sections here 2 other potential enemy forces, which we would resolve once we come into line of sight. Now, they might move around, might encounter them before we want to, but this is an attack mission, so these PEFs are on defense. They might actually be dug in when we encounter them. So let's go to the first turn.
Move to the edge of the woods.
There we go. All right, the American squad here has decided to move up just normal move of 8 inches. They don't wish to fast move in a potential conflict situation here. Moving up to basically cover each other as they go up towards this gap in the bocage, towards this orchard over here. So that would be first squad's move. Attack.
What's the penalty for being in force?
There is a slight penalty. Basically, you're going to lose a couple inches of movement. Yeah, minus 2 inches because they're light woods, right? Okay. So these guys also move up. Basically move up 6 inches to get out of the woods, so they can move up to here, trying to stay behind some kind of cover if they can. Right, moving up along the wood line here into the tree line. There's the bar gunner, which is a nice base of fire for the squad. And all the assistants are here. So this squad is going to move up here. Kind of a rough diamond formation, if you will. Not the best formation. And then our platoon leader, you want to move him up?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
we'll just continue going up.
Okay. Make sure you just keep him behind the other squad so we can send off runners and everything too. So move those up. Excellent.
Lovely.
And that is the American move. On to the German move. Okay, we're playing this NUTS game in co-op mode. So all the players are on one side against the paper and pencil AI system using potential enemy force movement. So we're going to roll 2d6 for each of the PEFs, looking for a rep of 4 to see what they do. So roll the first one. That is pass 2. Moves 8 inches directly towards the player. Roll for the second one. That is a pass 1. It will move 4 inches. And roll for the third one. That will also move towards the American players. So going back to the table, the first PEF is just going to move up to snug up into that building there. The other PEFs are going to move up 8 inches toward the Americans, moving up roughly to here. And this one here is going to move further up out of the field, maybe towards the bocage. Once we resolve these with an insight, we'll figure out what they are. On to the next turn. Rolling for activation again. Now it's time to roll activation for the next turn. Each player is going to roll d6, looking for their rep or lower. German player, I'll just roll for them as the NPE player, and the American will roll as well. So Germans rolled a 6, no activation. Americans rolled a 2, they get to activate. Had that been a 7, there would have been reinforcements on the table, but not this turn. So now the Americans get to move. The Germans will react if they see anybody, and we'll move the Americans. I think this American squad is going to move up another 8 inches. Not really looking to run fast into bocage country here. So I'll move them up 8 inches. Is roughly putting them at basically into the foot of this orchard here, kind of spreading my diamond formation out a bit, and then I'll just filter through that wood line there into the orchard. The upside and downside of sophisticated teddy bear fur, so they sometimes make the the figures bounce around a little bit. So there we go. That is first squad is moved. Second squad, now we're getting in a position here where that PEF will be able to see you as soon as you break the wood line. Right?
So we're trying to stay roughly behind these woods
But
here.
as soon as you come out of here, you can see that PEF. They can see you. So you're going to roll back a little bit. Roll back just until you break the wood lines around here. And have your first couple figures will trigger the insight. They can move up to 2 inches further. Right, these scouts are also moving up here, right, trying to stay open as these folks start to move up through cover, right, and this will trigger the insight up here as well. So we'll start moving up these guys, and then right there we trigger the insight test. So let's go to the insight table, see what we get. Well, it is basically an insight, but what's happening is here now we've encountered a PEF. We want to see what it is and roll 2 dice against the enemy investment level, which is a 3 because we won the last couple of engagements. So let's go ahead and roll that. Rolling 2 dice, looking for a 3 or less to see what we get. So 6 and a 5. That is false alarm. Luckily, that PEF in that farm complex seems to be just the jitters. So nothing there, we remove it. That means that PEF, oh, which you just dropped on the table, comes off. Awesome, good job. And now the American side here can continue their advance. If only all the PEFs would resolve like that, except the last one can never. It's always something. Yep. All right, moving up third squad to complete American movement. The second squad has moved up, some of them along the blocage. Of course, there's that field headquarters section, and first squad is moving into the orchard. So that's going to complete turn 2. So now we're going to go for activation for the next turn to see what happens. Here we go. Activation for turn 3. Going to roll 1d6 each.
I'm going to keep doing that.
Roll it then. The Americans activated. The Germans also activated. They have a higher number, so they activate first. So we're going to roll on that PEF table to see what they do, looking for passes. Right, we're going to roll the first one. Is a pass 1. It's going to move 4 inches forward. The second one is also a pass 1, 4 inches forward. So if there's anybody there, they're kind of advancing cautiously towards the line of the American attack. We'll move those up.
Back there,
German PEFs have moved up. One seems to be moving down the left side of the flank of the board. The other is moving into that farm complex that the other one seemed to have not been anything. So we'll see what happens next. There's no fire. Nobody sees anything. So we're going to go on to the next turn. It's going to be turn 3. All right, let's go to turn 3. All right, let's do turn 3 activations. So roll for the Americans and the Germans. The Americans roll a 5. They activate. The Germans roll a 4. They also activate. The Americans rolled higher, so they're going to go first, followed by the Germans. So let's go ahead and do the American move.
Bye.
My correction is turn 4. So this game can move pretty fast. So let's go ahead and get the Americans moving up. We're hitting light woods here. We're only going to move 6 inches, so we're going to move up just to occupy kind of the center of the woods. This is about 6 inches. Right, moving up here into this orchard. Maybe some of the guys want to stop and grab a beautiful Normandy apple. Maybe these are pears. Get lucky to find some calvados somewhere. A friendly farmer will give them. So that's moved up. Over here, more in the open, we're going to move up 8 inches. There, that's third squad moving up over there. And the second squad in the middle. It's also going to move up 8 inches across this field here. So moving up across the field towards the farm complex. The bar gunner, assistants. All right, moving them up. And we got the HQ section. Can move up kind of in the center. We're kind of leaving first squad off kind of by itself on the flank.
Yep.
But, you know, they can be supported very quickly. Since we're doing a squad line, it's not so bad. All right. And that moves up. The American side is all moved up. All right. Now we're going to roll for the Germans again, rolling 2d6 for activations. And the first PEF activates 1 because its rep is 4. Roll a 6 and 2. It's going to move up 4 inches. The second one activated 2 will move 8 inches. So let's go back to the table and move them up. So So what happens is the first PEF was cautiously advancing, so it just goes up about 4 inches into this area here. This one moves 8 inches, just basically gets into sort of the center of this farm complex or occupies that building. So we'll see what we run into next turn. This might turn into another activation insight test next turn. And we'll go to turn 5. There's no fire yet. Nobody sees anything. Let's move to turn 5. These activations again, this is a critical turn. We're so close to each other. The Germans roll a 4, they activate. The Americans roll 3.
No.
They also activate, but the Germans activate first. So they're going to move first. We'll do that first one that's over in the farm complex. It's going to activate one, move up 4 inches. It's still in the farm complex. The one on the flank also activates one. Germans are being cautious. We'll move them up. So German movement. The PEF on the flanks moved up into this bocage area, getting closer to the first squad. But the second PEF moved up into this farm complex and now might be able to spot all these guys in the field. This would be a very critical resolution test. So we're going to go back to that PEF table and make a test. All right, rolling 2 dice on that PEF resolution table to see what the heck it is. We passed 2.
There you go.
That is something. So we're going to go to the enemy defensive position table. Possibly because we are on an attack. So let's go ahead and roll this. We are on a defensive position. Roll a d6 plus 3. The defensive plus 1 for attack. So d6 plus 4. What do we get? That is a 7. Which is a enemy squad in defensive position. So enemy squad occupying the farm complex. Let's go put those out. That is a German squad that's occupying these lead buildings here. So we have several men inside this barn. You can shoot out through windows. And we also have more people in this farmhouse right here. You can see there's windows and a door that could be open and a stable. So you've got a nice chunk of this squad is inside cover, while the Americans are not. So this could be really bad for the Yanks. So let's see what happens. We'll go to the insight test to see who gets to act first. So we go ahead and roll those right now. All right, now it's time for insight. This is pretty critical. So this is like an opposed challenge. We're a 1d6 per rep, which is like the morale and training level of the leader involved. So the American leader is a 5, so he's going to roll rep 5. That's 5d6. The German's a 4. Rolling 4d6, we want to get higher. We want to get more than the other guy to see who wins. The guy who wins gets to go first, take action. So let's go ahead and roll that up. The Germans are going to roll for 4s or less. We have pass 2. The Americans looking for those as well. Also passes 2.
3 though. I'm at 5.
Oh, you're up 5. Pass 3. The Americans could go first. Woohoo! That was super critical.
There you go.
Plus, you have your star. You could always reroll die. Burn the star
sir.
point and roll a die. So that's critical. The Americans get to act first, and they get to shoot first and take action. So let's go do that right now. The Americans are active. They get to go first. They won the insight test. They've got these 2 squads that basically are engaged. They can all see the foes. So at this point, the American player has to decide how he's going to advance and shoot. He can actually have guys move up and throw hand grenades. He can lay suppressing fire in the buildings. So, platoon leader, what do you want to do?
All right, let's see here. We can move 2 inches.
Well, no, it's your turn. It's your active turn. You can move and fire.
Oh.
So you don't want a fast move. You can move up and go prone and fire. So you're harder to basically hit a little bit. You can go behind cover and fire. You could fast move, try and get into base-to-base contact and charge, do hand-to-hand combat, which might be kind of crazy.
Ooh.
You can move up, and if you fast move, you really can't do much reacting though. So I don't think you want to fast move, but you can get within 6 or 8 inches to chuck a hand grenade, chuck some grenades at the Germans while you're laying down fire.
All right, well, I'm going to have these 2 scouts up here pop right on the side of this building. That'll be just about 8 inches for them.
Okay. And there are guys in that building.
At the end of their turn, can they throw a grenade in this building?
Yeah, you can chuck a grenade in there.
All right, these guys are going to chuck a grenade into there.
So basically designate what you want to do, what your fire targets are, and then we'll resolve the action.
That's good. All right.
We'll resolve it basically, 1 squad at a time. You can decide to try and hit multiple targets. Now, those guys in the building are in cover. They're going to be harder to hit, right? And if you want to chuck grenades, we'll just get out some handy-dandy grenade markers here and see how that works out for us. All right, here are a couple grenade markers here. I'm thinking there could be a bunch of grenades going off, right? So let's check out here. All right, the Americans are attacking. We're going to have a grenade. We'll chuck a grenade here, right? And you can place them out where you want to throw those grenades. I'll come back around here. Yeah. So that's a grenade trying to go through that window over there. Grenade there. You do have to move the guys up to be able to throw those, and that's their action.
6 to 8 inches.
Yeah, and these guys are also moving up here.
Aren't quite in
These
range
guys
of
can
this,
move
though,
up
actually.
here to throw their grenades, right?
Scouts can do their business.
Right. The bar gunner
Aren't quite as
can move up and lay down fire. You can actually go prone if he wants to. These guys can all go prone if you want to.
Oh,
Yep.
Ontario, California is east of Los Angeles.
There we go. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys in there.
Throwing a grenade from these scouts into this building.
Okay, you can try to get through the window. You have to make a high roll, but you can try it out. There's some guys in the stable as well.
This guy over here can chuck it into the middle. Here we go.
Okay. All right. So
there's some right in the stable window.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Lovely. Yeah, we'll chuck one in there too.
Okay.
There's two.
So we got 4 grenades.
Stuck among there.
Okay, 4 grenades going at. So we'll resolve those grenade attacks on the grenade table, and then after that, we'll see what happens. The Germans may also be able to resolve fire. But as we go left to right, basically, first we'll start off with the grenades. That'll be their actions, right? So go ahead and roll 2d6 for the first grenade trying to go through the barn window. Just roll them right there on the ground, right there. Of course, you want to beat your rep. Would you roll a 5 and a 2? Okay.
Based on who's throwing it.
All right, so that missed because you're trying to get it through the window, so it did not work. It goes off outside and doesn't do any damage. All right, check for that window over there. I'll try and get a grenade through that window. Yep. Pass 2 on target that goes through the window. That's right, because you didn't fast move. Okay, roll for that stable over there. And that'll also, with penalties, that's a pass 2 also. So you get that grenade that's going into that center area there. Let's go ahead and roll that one. That's a pass 1. So basically bounces off a building and hits the wrong place. So you can see the nominated spot though, right? Okay, you can see it, so it's 2d6. So you do pass. You do hit. All 3 grenades hit, 1 bounces off and detonates without causing any damage. Now let's resolve those right now. So basically anybody in there takes a shooting damage. So this might be a very fast resolution, right? So we're going to roll d6 for anybody who's been hit by the grenade attack, which is much of the squad right there, but 2 guys there. We'll roll these right here. So 1 guy is lower than his rep, he ducks back. 1 guy is dead. Inside the main building, there are 3 people. Duck back, and 1 dead. So lower than rep, ducks back. So we had 1 dead, 2 ducks back over there. We have 3 guys that are in grenade range over there. Ducks back, out of the fight, and dead. So that's pretty good. That was a good casualty shot. So let's go ahead and inflict those casualties right now. All right, so we can see the result of the grenade attack. We have 4 figures down. The other figures are in duck back. Means they can't act. Except the 2 figures in the barn were not affected.
Grenade missed.
The grenade missed and didn't do anything, bounced off the building and didn't do any damage to anybody. And so the other Americans will continue their fire. These guys get to return. This is the first phaso. They'll get to do some action. These guys here in the building will get to shoot, and they'll see what they do. So in this building, we have the assistant squad leader with an SMG and a guy with a bolt-action rifle. The SMG will take 2 shots. Bolt-action rifle will take 1 shot. They want that bar gunner out, so we'll take 2 shots to the bar gunner with the SMG, nominate 2 figures, and then the rifle will try and hit the squad leader next to him. So we'll go ahead and make those rolls. Why don't you get the dice over here? Yeah.
Do the Americans do it to their shooting before?
Well, the grenades activate fire. Basically, that was an attack, right? So the first thing we check grenades, and then we'll do return fire and stuff based on that, and then we'll be able to do covering fire. But really, this is kind of it, because the duck back means these guys did duck back. Duck back means these guys did duck back out of sight, right? This guy is going to run out of sight. He ducks back out of sight. He ducks back out of sight. So there's no firing here. That's over. It's only these 2 guys in the building. Yep. Put down duck back markers. Good job. Duck back marker there. And there. And That's right. One there, and another marker over here. This guy's also in duck back. That's fine.
Here we go.
Duck back marker. Excellent. But these two guys get to fire. So you want to get the dice over here, and we'll check the shooting table. All right, shooting. Okay, here we go. So the first guy, rep 4. Just put these down. We'll just roll them here on the table. Getting the German guys here. So the rep 4, he's trying to hit the bar gunner. Right, he's trying to hit the bar gunner, and the guy next to him, the assistant bar gunner. It's a miss. Miss. He's obviously rattled by the grenade. He's actually low on ammo. We'll put a low ammo snake eyes. He's actually low on ammo, so that was a really bad result. And then the trooper doing the shot at the. Oops, I fumbled that, but I rolled a 6 for the other trooper trying to shoot the squad leader, so it's actually a hit. So we roll d6 in the shooting damage. Roll your rep. You're the squad leader. Is a rep 4 for that guy. All right, now the fire is resolved. We have to do a man down test. We're going to roll for each person within 4 inches of the squad leader got hit.
Ooh,
okay, he doesn't like it, so he's going to fall back. Guy next to him, your bar gunner. He's going to fall back. And bar gunner, he's going to take cover. He's already in cover. He's going to go prone. The guy next to him also go prone. Yep.
And we get those markers next.
Yep. And that guy passed, and that guy also goes. Basically, these guys are all taking cover. They're like, oh, we didn't like that. We're going to go prone, receive cover, and he's also going to fall back.
Here we go. And this guy's also in my squad. So
okay, and he's also going to basically take cover. So they're basically all going to run for cover here. They didn't like getting shot like that, and they might go prone. So, and that ends that round. Now we also have. Okay, it's turn 6. We're going to roll initiative. So the Germans roll, or activation of 6, means that PEF will not move. The Americans roll 3. Cool. This is a pretty important moment for the Germans to roll a 6, which is really bad. So they can react to fire, but they can't take an active phase. So the Americans will get to go first. Cool. All right. Americans, what do you want to do?
Astra.
What do you want to do? So I think the assistant squad leader over here is going to go rally these guys who are trying to run away, right? So he's going to move over to rally these two guys. Both ran from seeing their squad leader get shot, while the rest of the folks are going to start moving up cautiously on this side. So once you start doing, decide how you want to assault this farm complex here. You know there's Germans in there. It's up to you to figure out how you're going to do it. This unit here is going to push up through the woods along this flank of the bocage. Now to go through the bocage is takes a bunch of extra movement. So we're actually just going to flank the bocage through this open field and go for this gap, which means that I don't have line of sight yet, but I soon will. Let's see that PEF is kind of floating in this field, but I'm not quite there yet. So I think as soon as I go past that gap, or if I just want to trigger it, move him wider, and I can see that PEF. We'll figure out what that is. Might as well get the action moving forward, right? So get all these guys moved up. And then you've got a bunch of choices on that side to take, right?
How much movement is to get up from being prone?
Half your movement, basically.
Yeah.
Yep. But while you're prone, you also get essentially a slight cover modifier, right? So it helps a little bit in that kind of instance. So this is going to be resolved. Probably next turn is over here.
Alright, I'm going to have these gentlemen stand up at a prone. The bargain's going to stay in that cover of the woods.
Okay.
And this guy is just going to move up into the corner of the woods.
Lay blind fire on the town. Onto the buildings that keep people ducked back. Well, you want to get some more grenades up there.
Ran away, can they come back this turn?
No, they're being rallied right now. So that squad, the assistant squad leader, top sergeant of platoon, is basically rallying these two guys that ran off.
All right.
And the rest of the squad can move up and take action.
This guy's also going to come.
Now, if you come into basically melee contact or range with a figure that's ducked back, there's a chance you can actually get them to surrender to you.
That's very helpful. Very helpful. All right, so we can't enter the building from here with these gent guys.
Well, you can get up to the window and chuck more grenades through if you want.
I could do that. All right, I'm gonna come right up to the edge of this building. These guys can all get in here.
That guy's actually, you can get to base that guy right there in the building if you want to get in there.
Yeah, we're gonna go right into this guy. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Let's run at him. And this guy just at the, get to the entrance too. That's pretty close to him there. And the rest are gonna come around the side of this building here.
Okay.
Just push up generally from there.
Yep.
There's
Okay.
our movement.
All right, excellent. And then the Platoon HQ is going to continue moving up as well. All right, so that's going to keep moving up. And if the medic will detach, he's going to fast move towards the down squad leader. Since he was out of the fight, there's a chance if the medic gets there relatively soonish, he can make a medic test and see if he recovers that figure back into the fight, or at least gives it a better chance to recover from being injured and get back in as a faster replacement. So the medic's going to basically fast move, get up to him over here, and see if he can help him out. So medic will do that. And let's go to the action, see what happens next. Okay, so the American squads have decided to act aggressively and move up right into the face of the Germans that they had just stunned with a grenade barrage and well-aimed bar gun fire over here. So because the Americans are not in duck back and the Germans are, the Americans automatically win the insight test and get to act first. So they can continue moving to base contact and force that duck back figure to surrender, engage it melee, or just stand off and fire. So it's kind of like your call what you want to do. Got these guys right up here at the window. Right, that's okay, put them there. You can dump another grenade through the window if you want, right here. So here we can put another grenade through the window. So that might be a good thing to do. Don't know what these guys are doing. So just you're right there. You can just shovel the grenade through the window. So you're not throwing it. So you're not from a distance.
Yeah, this guy run into melee. Oh,
you can go right up to.
This guy's gonna come to melee.
And that'll basically.
This guy will actually take a step off and shoot down there. The guy who could turn on us.
There. Okay.
Yeah.
And then over here, you're putting more grenades through the window here.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, so we'll
chuck another. Who's still going in there? So we'll just clear it out.
Chuck another grenade in there, and these guys are getting right in face-to-face contact with this guy here, which they're going to go right into melee, which will force him pretty much to surrender. So our reaction is here. This German is forced to surrender by the American soldier. Over here, we have a grenade going through the window, and then that guy there is also forced to surrender, and another grenade and a shot. So that grenade goes through the window. Since you're right there, you had enough movement to basically half move and get up there and chuck a grenade through. So just roll. We'll just roll. The Germans just roll d6 against his rep because it's going to go through the window automatically. So we'll just go ahead and roll it right here. A 6. That is dead. And there's another German in there too. Roll for him. His rep is 4. He rolled a 5 out of the fight. So they're both gone. A well-used barrage of grenades there. And here also another grenade through the window and a 3. That would also force him into duck back. So he just continues. He's basically running. He went into the corner behind some cover inside the farmhouse, maybe some tables or something, and he's okay. Here, this guy is just forced to surrender because the Americans are base-to-base contact, and we have a shot here. So go ahead and take your shot on this guy over here. You roll d6. High is good. A 6 is a hit. So go ahead and roll. I'll roll d6 for the German against his rep of 4. And a 6 is obviously dead. So pretty much the Americans did a beautiful assault on this farm complex here with grenades supported by automatic rifle fire, then swept around the flank and took some Germans prisoner and shot the last guy out of the fight. So that ends this PDF. This squad is pretty much gone, and that's going to end the turn. We're moving on to turn 7. One more thing, though. A prisoner does take a figure to remove from the table. So one American figure can manage up to 4 prisoner figures. So we'll have to detach a figure to take those prisoners back to the room. We do forget, there's a guy here in the building, right? So he's the last guy left. We'll make his crisis test, 2 dice against his rep, 6 and a 3. He passes only 1. His squad is gone. He's going to try and run. So he's going to try and retreat out of here. So he goes out this back door, 8 inches. Basically, or just routes a full move. He gets back over to that area there before the American has a time to react. That guy's running. So pretty much he's out of the game. But that's the end of this fight over here. To turn 8 activation, rolling 5-4. Okay, so they both activate, but the Americans won with a 5 to a 4 for the Germans. So the Americans get to activate and go first. Okay, so on this side here, the other side, we have a little vignette where the platoon leader is going to talk to this German squad leader that's been captured. They're under the gun right now, so they're basically out of the fight, but the squad leader can talk to them, or platoon leader can talk to them. And if you run your chocolate cigarette type connection, the plug-in, the light RPG plug-in to NUTS, you can get intel from that, from doing a questioning interaction, but we're not going to do that this turn. So there's only one last PEF to resolve. So this side here can almost take a free action to move up, either police the area or continue on towards the objective, which is to capture those back parts of the table. But let's see what happens here. The Americans do get to go first. So let's see what happens. We can send up a couple of the scouts to see what happens here. And we're going to basically move up as a body. We'll come around here, get 2 guys up as scouts. You want to hold on to that for me? I'll move these guys up. And this is going to trigger that insight test. And this might be dicey because actually I would prefer they moved this time, right? I get my bar gunner up here so he can kind of support things. And generally move my squad up here a little bit. Constrained by this lane of movement, which is the bocage area. So we'll see what happens. So this is going to force an insight test. Let's go ahead and roll what that's going to be, or the PF resolution. Just roll it right here. It's easy to do. Looking for 4s or less. Oh my God, that'd be nothing. But since we're having fun here, so you pass 0 means that PF would be resolved. We pick it up, and that's the end of the game. The Americans basically win this scenario, having really encountered just 1 German squad. But we roll this instead. Pass 2. Something there. Let's find out what it is. We'll keep the game going and do another round. Then we roll on the defensive table, right, and see what we encounter. And that's going to be the replacement table. Where is that guy here? Enemy defensive position. Rolling a d6 plus 4 on the enemy defensive position table. A 4 is going to be plus 4 is 8. Well, it's going to be defensive position. 1 enemy squad in defensive position. So that's what we're going to put out. That means they're basically in some kind of a trench line or something. Ouch. Let's put it out, see what we get. Okay, so that resolved as a German squad in defensive positions. They basically are running into a fortified section of bocage, and not ideal for this squad in constrained quarters. So after triggering the insight, they can actually move 2 more inches before we resolve everything. So these guys are going to basically try and limit who can fire on them and duck back as much as they can. So this guy is kind of stuck. So we have these guys are vulnerable to some of the fire, but not fire from everybody. He's going to go prone. It's about all he can do is go prone. And we'll take that insight test to see what happens. So that's going to be a bunch of dice. You want to get that out here? Get the insight. We need d6s on both sides. We need 5 d6 for the Americans. Again, this is a veteran skill. This is an experienced squad against rep 4, which is default. But they probably would be also rep 5 in this area. So roll 4 d6s. Just roll those, whatever you got in your hand is fine. Looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s. So wow. Okay, that's 3 successes for the Americans. And roll the Germans. Go ahead. And 2 successes. That means the Americans get to react first and do first fire. So that's basically going to be, they have a bar gun that gets 3 shots, 2 shots each from the rifle. Those guys are in cover though. So let's see what happens here. So we're just going to go left to right. The bar gunner back here has restricted the line of fire. I think he can get, mostly we can just fire on these guys here. And then this guy here can also shoot. So go ahead and take that. I will start rolling. Okay, I'm going to allocate. He's going to fire both shots at the light machine gun over here. And then these other guys can also be hit a total of 2 shots at each. So they can no more be hit more than once. But let's do the important one, which is the LMG gunner here. Looking for high rolls. 3-1 does not hit, so that did not do anything. And then basically trying to hit these guys left to right. Guys hit, and second shot. So basically 2 of these guys are hit once. That guy is not hit. So we'll resolve those damage rolls right now. 5, he is out of the fight. And a 2, he ducks back, so he can't shoot. But the other figures that are fired at can return fire, which includes the LMG, which I think can see this guy and this guy. So shots on each, multiple shots on each. And he also gets to fire. So both these guys have been hit. And we'll roll for him. 3, he is duck back, basically goes prone. Can duck back behind the bocage here. And this guy here is out of the fight, so he's down. So these guys are also, except for the bar gunner, outgunned by the LMG, but the bar gunner can return fire. They're basically the same. So we have like a LMG duel here, but he also gets to shoot back. He's not in duck back. He gets a shot at the bar gunner. He misses. So that's the first round of shooting. Now the Americans take their second shot. The bar gunner is going to again try and put 2 shots. He's going to basically allocate his fire to these 2 figures here. And hit. He hits them both. And the rifleman here is going to shoot this guy who's also in cover. And that's a miss. So both these guys have been hit. Nothing, they duck back. So those guys, I'll turn them around. They both duck back. He's still okay. He gets to fire one more time. Take a shot at the bar gunner. And he hits. The bar gunner has been shot. And he is duck back. So that ends the action right here on the side. So that ends the firefight. Pretty much one casualty per side and a bunch of duckbacks. After this firefight over here, the Americans encountered a fortified bocage defense. So a couple casualties, one on each side, and a bunch of duckbacks. So those who saw the casualties are going to basically take the man down test on either side. And we'll see what happens after those tests are done. So it's pretty straightforward. We're going to roll essentially 2d6 rep for anybody who is affected by it. Take over the little camera for me here. See what happens here. So we're going to roll for he's okay, also okay, in the sense that there are no other actions other than duck back. Okay, he does not like it, and he's going to book it. He's going to run. But thankfully there's an assistant squad leader back here who can try and rally him, so he's going to block him. Then he's okay. So basically this group is passed. Over here we have some crisis tests. So duck back. This guy's also going to duck back. He didn't like what was happening. That's fine. He's in duck back. This guy also didn't like it. He's in duck back. This guy's also duck back. They all duck back from the firefight. So that ends the man down test. They have it now. It's the German activation turn. So on German activation, they can just remove these duck backs. They can rally themselves, move the duck back markers, and be ready to go for the next turn. So they're not going to move. They're going to rally themselves here in place and be ready to do whatever they need to do next. And that ends the turn. So, oops. At the beginning of turn 9, we'll actually, yeah, you have to roll a double move. So, all right, these 2 squads here that have swept the farmhouse complex are going to basically keep moving.
You'll pass one.
Pass one, so you can move 12 inches. They're going to try and book it and fast move. Looks like 3rd squad is going to try and go for the objectives down here to complete the mission, while 2nd squad and the HQ section are going to move around to support 1st squad, who's under fire from this bocage defense line. Yeah. All right, look at this.
Get up to here.
Awesome. So those guys are moving fast. Okay, and over here we'll make a medic test. They stay there. We'll make the medic test to see if this guy comes back into the fight. So we'll do that real quick. Sorry for moving the camera around, just my phone. And we'll make a medic test here as a pass 1. So he doesn't come back into the fight instantly, but he is helped and he has a higher chance of recovering during the replacement recovery phase after the battle. So that's important to know. So the medic does have an effect. If he'd pass 2, that figure would be back in the fight at -1 rep, but could continue the game. And this figure will just keep him moving to the rear, presuming he's got 2 German figures that he's captured, moving off the table. Those figures being used right now for firefight. And I see second squad here in the center is moving up to support first squad.
Yep.
And they're fast moving. They made their fast move roll. They're basically running, which means they have a penalty to any insights and doing any other actions, but it does let you move really fast, which we can do now because we're assured that that's the last PF on the table before we can win the game. So that ends the turn.
Past 1, so they can
Awesome.
12 inches.
And we'll move on to turn 10. All right, on to turn 10 activation, rolling each side. The Germans roll a 2, Americans a 3. So the Americans did win. They get to go first. So these guys really don't want to keep advancing into the bocage defenses there. So I think at a minimum, they want to recover from duck back and sort of rethink their strategy, maybe move off in a different direction. And this squad here in the center can take an action as well. So here at least we're going to remove these duck back markers, giving them some flexibility. That'll be some of these figures here will be more able to do stuff while also retiring. It's really hard to move through the bocage, so I'm not sure if I want to do that right now.
All right, over here, we're going to roll for double move for the squad kind of the
Sure you want to double move, or do you want
Pass
to?
2. Well, for the guys
Oh,
over
that's right.
here,
The guys over
go
here,
for
you're
the
right. Yeah,
objectives.
yeah, that's true. You want to go
They're
ahead.
going
And
to get 16 inches.
16 inches
That's
passing 2.
Very nice.
Yep, so they're going to book it up to that objective. All right, they'll be able to sweep that objective. That gives one of the objectives captured. The other 2 are over here. Center in this last field over here.
All right, and the rest are going to be moving just normally, try to kind of regroup. They're going to move
Kind
to
of
support.
could try and flank these guys from the rear, possibly.
Yeah.
Right. So these guys are going to kind of duck back over here, like I said, and regroup. Maybe they'll move up to support second squad as they make a flanking move onto the German position there.
The command squad try a double move because they're kind of far behind right now. They
Yeah.
try to catch up.
Yeah.
So they pass 1, they can go 12.
Yep. Okay. All right. So they're moving up there. And we presume there would be an entrance on the back side of this bocage defenses here. So just kind of go make a little gap in the bocage to make a defense, basically a tunnel they dig through the bocage.
So some of us moved, some of us didn't, just trying to regroup for this squad.
Okay. And the Germans, since they don't see anybody, think they're just basically gonna, well, what do you think they would do? They would wait.
Yeah, they heard some shooting over here, so they know something's going on.
Something's going on. They're shooting all over the place. It's Normandy. So, but they do know they encountered the American squad at the front and drove them back. They would probably wait here for another turn, maybe fall back or put some scouts out to see what's going on around them. So maybe they would do that. They might say, okay, I'm going to put some scouts back around here just to give myself some flank security, right? Pull a couple guys off for flank security to see what's going on. Not quite sure. And that ends the turn. All right. No shooting this turn. Nobody's inside of each other. So at the beginning of turn 10, we have our firefight shaping up here with 2 American squads cautiously advancing on this German defenses in the hedgerow here. And now it's time for activation. Each side's going to roll D6. If you want to roll the Americans, and I'll roll the Germans, go ahead and roll them. Looking for your rep or lower. 5, you passed. 3 passed. But you rolled higher, so the Americans get to activate first. So third squad over there, you want to keep moving quickly around to sweep up the other 2 objectives. What's second squad in the HQ section going to do here on this side?
So both of these squads are going to be just coming down the road.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're trying to move across to here and go onto the road.
Okay.
So, we wouldn't
So
know
go ahead. As soon
exactly
as you
where
guys basically get into this area here, there's going to be some insight tests made, right?
Yeah, so these first two would get just to the edge of the road.
Okay.
These scenes.
Well, you can, yeah, move the body of the group up if you want to. If you want to try and get an insight test and win that and get firepower on these guys, you can do that. Right, you can try and basically mash your fire here. Okay, that's cool. Right. Oopsie. Knock each other over on bumpy terrain. Again, this sort of modified teddy bear fur terrain looks really awesome, but it's a bit bumpy. And first squad does not want to initiate contact by coming around the corner into a light machine gun nest. So they're reluctant to do that for some reason. So this is where the bulk of the action is going to be. I think first squad, once contact's initiated, will come up to support, but they don't want to step into the buzzsaw.
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and make that insight test. Remember, you're going to get 5 dice,
yep,
right, for the Americans and 4 dice for the German side. Looking for those successes, 1, 2, or 3 is a success. So here's the American side. Here's the German side. You want to go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll your dice.
Yep.
American platoon leader. I'll roll for the Germans. They have a pass 2. Americans have a pass 3. Excellent. So they get to go first. So go ahead, take your shots. Americans have been really good on those insight tests for the most part. So go ahead and take those shots. Get a lot of shots. Like basically each guy can get hit a couple times. So
are they going to try and move 2 inches out of the way anywhere?
Well, they're not active, so you're activating first.
All right.
Yeah, hopefully they'll survive and duck back. So you can't get more than one hit on any guy. So basically nominate some shots.
All right. So each person's gonna shoot at both of them pretty much.
Okay, you can only hit each guy once. But go ahead and just roll.
Yeah.
Start making shots. That's a miss. Okay, that's a hit. That would be it. That's a hit.
All right. So that would
Also
be a hit on each person.
So each person can only be hit once, right? So you took a bunch of fire. Each guy can be hit once. So we'll make the tests for them to see what happened. This guy in the front, rolling a d6, a 4. That's his rep, right? So he's out of the fight. If it's lower than his rep, he ducks back. This guy here, oops, let me roll that, is a 1. So he ducks back. So it was a 1 of a roll. So he ducks back into the main defense. He's like, ooh, let me get out of here. That did not work out well. So that ends the firefight over here. There's no man down test because nobody saw it except for this dude who already did a duck back, right? So he would make a crisis test because his buddy was shot, but he's with his lieutenant and his leader. He passes one, which is to stay and duck back. He doesn't retreat. So the Germans don't have anything to do. There's no reaction because they don't see anybody. That ends turn 10. So good point, some discussion about what would these Germans do. They would do something. They know there's some guys on the flank. So this guy will move down the bocage line. He will also move down the bocage line, and they will chuck grenades over the hedges to see if they get somebody. So let's put a couple of grenade markers, just blindly throwing them over the hedge like this to see what we can do. And so this is going to be a 2d6 test on the grenade chart. So high is good, low is bad. So go ahead and just roll 2d6. That's on target right there. Can't see it, but it still hits. Roll 2d6 for the other one. That is not. That misses. It's going to go basically off in the wrong direction, right? So we'll check that real quick on the grenade table. And let's see here. Well, I'm on the completely wrong thing. It's basically going to go off in the wrong direction. You can't see it, so it's going to miss and not cause any damage. So basically it's, it's not exact. It just goes somewhere and doesn't cause damage. But this group here gets hit by the grenade. So that's 3 figures. 3 figures get hit by the grenade. And we're going to roll shooting damage for each one. So we have, that's an assistant guy right there. That's actually a squad leader and an assistant squad leader. So this could be bad. Actually, that's top sergeant and a squad leader. So a normal guy, he is out of the fight. That is a squad leader. He's okay. He's going to duck back. And that is out of the fight. So we lost top. So we lost 2 guys, and we lost our top sergeant. And this guy is in duck back. So he's going to basically fall back over here.
Now, is there a radius around that grenade, or is the mini going to be weird?
That was a grenade. It's basically a 2.5, about 2-inch radius, so about this size right there, right? About 2-inch radius.
Guys, they're a little bit off in the back.
Yeah, so basically got an area about that far across, right? Which is just that cluster of figures. So that was highly effective for blind grenade throwing. Grenades are pretty effective, as it turns out. Folks nearby will take crisis tests. They saw their buddies get hit by grenades, but looks like that's a pass 2, pass 1, goes to duck back, doesn't like it. Over here, he's going to fall back.
He's going to run back to the squad
back
leader
over there.
rally.
Yeah, that's right. And this guy didn't like it. He runs back to the squad leader over here to get rallied. So that's that part of it. There's nothing for the Americans to do. They don't see anything, and they've already taken their action. So I guess next turn maybe they can chuck grenades over the hedges as well. All right, that ends the action. Go on to turn 11. All right, so the guys, that third platoon is going to keep moving itself fast to capture the rest of the objectives.
All right. See ya. Pass 2, 1
Pass
and
2.
3.
So he's running, basically
16 inches.
double
These
timing
guys are
it.
spend their turn.
So those two figures there spend the activation to capture that objective.
Then
These
as a
figures
whole,
here
they can all
moving
get
into
up
the second
to right
objective
about here.
zone to capture that, and the next turn they'll be able to capture the third objective zone, presuming we win the firefight with these Germans in the defense line. So moving on to turn 11, we'll roll. See who goes first. Okay.
Let me reroll that.
You roll the American die. The Americans do not activate. The Germans activate. They roll a 3.
Stunned by those grenades.
They're stunned by the grenades. We'll just repeat it. These guys will chuck more grenades over the hedgerow, just blindly throwing grenades.
They heard screams. They bet it works.
It worked. And this guy, maybe he'll be able to take advantage of it, and they'll duck back around the corner here, right, to engage this new set of Americans here, right? So we'll get a firefight going over here, right? So we'll initiate contact on this side here. So this will force an insight test, but also grenades are going off. So take your 2 grenade markers back again.
All right.
Did you put them somewhere? I put them. There we go. Grenade markers. So just place them down. We're kind of throw them towards where we hear sounds and yells and stuff. So see if we can take out that whole American squad with well-placed grenades. The grenade that missed actually caused people to duck back, even though it didn't cause casualties, caused them to duck
Do I
back.
smell food?
And we'll go here. All
I'm
right.
not hungry. I just thought I'd find something.
Make an insight test for these guys over here. See who wins it. All right, you get 5, and they get 4, and they passed 3. Germans passed 3. Americans passed 2. Oh no, the Germans get to fire first. So it's a submachine gun, 2 rifles. So we'll do those. So basically that's in terms of targeting, we can target up to 5 figures. So we'll target this cluster 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this cluster of figures here, we'll target shooting once at each, going left to right. So let's see. It's a miss. That first guy is missed. Second guy also missed. Bar gunner is hit, miss, and a hit. So both these guys, this guy, and oh, yeah, that makes sense. He's the assistant, right? They each took a hit. Bar gunner is out of the fight, and he ducks back. That ends that. Now, people who respond in, there are 3 people who can respond, and they'll each return fire, and they're going to shoot back, 1 at each, which is a miss, and a hit. So one guy here is hit. So we rolled 1 hit over here, right? So that's 1 hit. And then we're going to roll to see what happened to him. That happens to be their squad leader or assistant squad leader here. A 6, he is dead. Okay, so these guys are both fired at. They can take 1 round of return fire, right? They'll each shoot back. They have 1 shot each, firing back. And that's 1 hit over here. And that forces him to duck back. The last guy is standing, can fire back, and he's got 2 shots. He'll do 1 at each because he's got a semi-automatic rifle. He'll fire both shots, and he gets 1 hit. And that 1 hit is a 2, is a duck back, so it forces him to duck back. And he also can't return fire. That ends he also ducks back, and that ends the firefight. So kind of brutal. And then the grenades go off. Oh no! Germans highly effective. Caught this squad moving around the other side of the hedgerow with grenades and a quick shock ambush. So go ahead and roll for the first grenade. Go ahead and roll that 2d6.
Ooh,
That's on target. All right, roll for the second
That's
grenade.
good.
See, that is
Pass
pass
two.
two.
Oh,
This is really devastating here. So it's not good for the Americans. They're all going to take
Germans'
shooting
bad
damage.
die rolls coming back to get us
That's
here.
right. Now it's all coming back. All right, so the guys who are duck back are basically like prone, but it doesn't matter. They're still taking hits. Okay, so whoever this is, he's gone. He is also, that's the platoon leader. He's duck back again. Since they're not dead, they weren't knocked out of the fight. These three figures here are killed, and duck back. So that was really brutal. This whole squad and HQ section was devastated by this German ambush. That was pretty brutal. So now it is the Americans' turn to do something. So all those guys are pretty much ducked back out of the fight. There's no targets here, but these two figures here, they can do, one of those figures can do something. It can run up and chuck a grenade over the side if it wants to. And maybe hearing all that commotion, this squad, just to keep the game moving along, we're going to go ahead and initiate contact over here and see if we can roll up this German squad that's been highly effective in its defense since the flank move didn't work the way we anticipated. So let's go ahead and just get that going because it is a game. Let's move everybody back up in here. Let's just move up as far as we can. Move up 8 inches, right? Just get up, we'll just move up 8 inches. This is going to trigger an insight over here, right? But we'll see what happens here. We're just going to get our folks back up into this fight here. And we had hoped to initiate a supporting attack. Didn't think we'd have to do an attack to support them from getting buzzsawed so bad. But we're just going to move up here. All right, so this squad is moving up to here. And this is going to trigger an insight test. So if you want to over here, you can also get... This guy can cross the road and get a grenade over the hedge, right? So he's going to cross the road and chuck a grenade over the hedgerow there. And here we're going to initiate that contact. All right, doing insight tests. So Germans passed 3. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh. Let's see what the Americans do. Americans passed 4. Awesome. Whew. That was important to win. So the Americans get to shoot first. And basically there's 4 guys they can shoot at here. This guy's in duck back, but they can still see this group here. And they're going to get off a bunch of shots. So essentially each figure will be engaged at least twice. The bar gunner can shoot 3. Tommy, the SMG from the squad leader, can shoot 3. Each of these rifles can shoot 2. So it's enough to put basically, you know, that's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. So I'll say 3 shots at each. So each guy's going to try and hit 3 times. So the first shot does not hit anything. Second attempt is a nothing. Boy, the Americans are now rolling poorly here. Let's roll in the middle here. And that is also nothing. And that is also a nothing. Oh my gosh, what is going on here? And at least that's a hit. And the last attempt is a miss. So we only got 1 hit. I didn't declare who I'm shooting at. Bad American dice rolls are catching up. After all the bad German rolls, now the bad American rolls coming in here. If I roll a 1 or 2, oh, I rolled a 1 or 2. It was the LMG gunner. He takes the hit. And but it's a 2. It's below his rep, not above his rep. So he's forced to duck back. I'll just turn him around for now. And so that means the other figures can return fire. There's a rifle and a squad leader who's got a SMG. He gets 3 shots. So basically he can take 3 shots. 1, 2, 3. He'll go 1, 2, 3, and the bolt action rifle will shoot 1. So each of these guys will get shot at once. Wow, crack shooting. That guy hits. And this one over here is also, wow, Germans are now getting their dice rolls in here. So this guy is gone, and this guy is gone, and our bar gunner is gone. Oh my God, all the dice have gone bad. He's rep 4, but he's out of the fight, right? These are all guys out of the fight, right? So I still have a couple guys left.
2 figures that got
that's
bumped
right
off the table, so they're still.
Yeah, that's right. They're still there. All right, so they still get to fire back. All right, so they get to shoot back. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So basically enough to get, again, 3 shots on each, but I'll roll figure by figure. So the squad leader He rolls a 5, plus 5 is 10. So he's basically going to hit all 3, except they're in cover. He gets 2 figures, 1 figure, 2 figures. So basically all the figures have been hit once based on my dice rolls of a 5 and a 5. So I rolled 2 5s and a 3. So all the figures there have been hit. I'll use the white die as the squad leader, and we'll see what happens here. So we have 2 4s, which are out of the fight. So out of the fight, right? 2 out of the fights and 2 duckbacks. And that ends the firefight. None of the Germans can return fire. And so now after all that fun, we still have the grenade throw over here. Go ahead. All right. Toss that grenade. You want to roll high? Actually, you want to make your rep roll. Roll 4 or less. No. Wildly miss. It goes off somewhere. You pow and does nothing. Misses wildly. Okay.
Now while the squads are moving over here, I rolled for these guys back here.
Okay. So that's 2 objectives have been captured.
It was a 3 and a 6 for moving double. And all they got to do is the dudes who were sitting back there, were at this woods line.
Mm-hmm.
They came around the corner to support because they heard all that firing. And they're going to be looking down this road to support if they come running out of there. But otherwise, this main group spent their turn capturing the objective, and these guys moved up from the one they just captured.
Excellent. And then we just replaced the German figures with casualty figures, right? And now there's definitely going to have to be a lot of crisis tests. We have a lot of casualties on the table. The Germans were just really effective with that counter ambush. Oh my gosh, that grenade barrage was just brutal and just took out so many guys here. That was so effective on the German side, right? So you can look at this side over here now. After all those grenades and the firefight over here, that just cost a lot of casualties there. So you can now see the road line with those casualties. That was really brutal. So that's going to cause a lot of man down tests now. So we're going to do those right now. So pretty much everybody in this group here has to make those man down tests. They've had a lot of casualties. So we'll start it off with the squad leader makes it. So he stays in duck back. This guy fails it. He's going to basically book it and run. So he's broken. He's going to run off the table. This guy over here, you see his squad get chewed up. He is going to remain in duck back. So he's just going to stay where he was in cover. These guys see their squad mates over here got shot up. So they'll also make a test. Pass. That guy's okay. And duck back. So he ducks back into cover. That ends that. So over here, we also have crisis tests. We took several casualties, right? We took a couple of casualties here. Plus figures getting dropped on the ground. So again, the perils of fantastic looking teddy bear for tabletops. So I have 2 more casualties here to put down on the table. And so that causes crisis tests here. Squad leader's okay. And this guy here, he's also passed 2 and passes 1. He goes to duck back. And that's the assistant squad leader here. What does he do? He passes 2. So at the end of the day, much of the team is still okay. We've taken 1, 2, 3. Actually, we took 4 casualties from this pretty tough fight over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's our squad that's left right there. Excellent. We'll pick these casualties up and put them to one side. Ouch. And that ends turn 11. Turn 12, though, I think we're going to have to make a crisis test for this group here. I mean, they've taken like half casualties, which is pretty brutal. They're kind of isolated. So we'll do that, do the crisis test here, kind of see what happens on the next turn. I think they may not stick around. So let's go on to the next turn. Well, on the American activation, we do have the medic is going to be able to take a couple of tests. He's got his hands full. You can probably get like 3 or 4 of these guys. So go ahead and roll for top sergeant. Go ahead and roll 2d6 for top sergeant. You want to pass 2.
Ooh, yeah,
Passes
pass 2.
1. No, you roll a
He's
5 and a 2. He's rep
he's
4.
4.
So pass 1. So he's not back in the fight, but he's better chance to recover after the fact. Roll for the next guy. He's okay.
2.
So that guy would come back in the fight at a reduced rep. So he had a minor wound. The guy in the middle of the road also pass 1. So another chance to recover later. And the last 2 guys there, go ahead and roll for them.
Pass. That's cocked.
So pass 1
and pass 1.
Pass 1. Okay, and these guys, I'll say, before the end of the game, medic couldn't get here, right? So we won't get the benefit for recovery. Just be straight up recovery. Anybody who's assisted by the medic can come back in the fight, or at least get a better chance to come back during the recovery phase after the battle's over. Now it's time for turn 11. The situation is just a buzzsaw over here where we had this complex firefight. Germans dug into the bocage here. A lot of grenades causing casualties on either side of the hedgerow, or the Germans' devastating grenade attack, and then a firefight over here on the road. And this team initiating contact, but failing a lot of tests that did not work out the way they anticipated. But now we're going to do initiatives. He gets to go first. All right, Americans, go ahead and roll. Germans roll a 3. They passed. Americans roll 4. They passed. It's higher, 5. But it's a 7. 3 plus 4 is 7. And nuts, that means there's reinforcement check. Ooh, so this is where the game could extend, right? So we go to the reinforcements table and say, okay, if we got that happening, we're going to check to see what happens, right? See who gets them. So roll even odd, roll to see who gets them, see if it's American or German reinforcements.
All right.
We want odd is American. Oh, okay, not German. Okay, so that'd be bad. If it was German, it would have been something coming over here maybe, but odd was American. You're rolling as I was saying odd. So roll d6 plus 4, right? Roll d6 plus 4 to see what comes up to support us. A 4 is 5. On the table here for reinforcements is 1 infantry squad. So we're going to have an infantry squad coming on somewhere behind the line over here. The action may be over by the time they get here, but we'll think that it's basically moving up through the woods. Maybe it's detached from another platoon. Here's all the mayhem and comes on over. But the Americans did get to go first. So what this group over here is going to do, we're going to basically move up to this, and we're going to chuck some grenades over. He's going to act for security. He's going to get there and get grenades over. He's going to move 8 inches up to here. So basically take that guy in the corner under fire, right? While these 2 guys get grenades up. So we're going to end up at about this, moving up to about here. All right, so we'll be able to take that guy under fire, and put grenades through here. Going to dump grenades. They seem to be highly effective under the right circumstances. And another grenade. We'll basically chuck a grenade, 2 grenades in there. Maybe we'll grenade in there, and we'll grenade at this guy over here. So take care of him. So get some grenades going. So they're in duckbacks. They can't do an insight test, but this guy can. He sees us coming. He turns around. He was fine from his last melee, or from his last check, right? So we'll both do insight tests. And we'll roll. The Germans have a pass 2. And the Americans will roll 5 dice and see what they get. The Americans passed everything. So the Americans get to go first. That was a really good roll. So that means the Americans can take these guys under fire. So we got the SMG guy, a couple of rifles. So we'll basically get a couple shots at him from each guy. He's hit at least once. So we'll go to the shooting damage table. 1 is duck back. He basically goes here and goes prone. So he's going to try and duck for cover. We've got grenades going off over here. So this grenade here over the side is on target. So that's on target here. That's a rep 5 NCO. And over here is also, it's a miss, so it causes him to keep ducking back. But this one goes off, shooting damage on the LMG and this one guy. LMG is out of the fight, and both out of the fight. So these guys are both down. Right, but all these things are taking a toll. So because of all that fire, it's going to cause crisis tests on these guys. They're both in duck back. A lot of their guys are gone. That's a fail. He's going to surrender. And that's also a fail too. He also surrendered. So basically, the remnants of these squad go hands up, and they're going to surrender. And that's the end of this firefight over here. Because there are no more active enemy forces on the table, the Americans can continue to complete their capturing of the objectives. And that was a 2-hour game. Literally, we started 2 hours ago, and we played this out to conclusion. And in just 2 hours, got really brutal towards the end here. That's how NUTS goes. You don't know what's going to happen until you run into it. Anyways, thanks, and happy gaming.